Hi, welcome back to Culinary Adventures. Our special guest today is Tom Van Petten of Pork Rubbers Barbecue. Thanks for making the trip, man.
It's my pleasure, Larry.
Hey, when we did some prep work, we did some, of course we needed to do some prep work for some dishes, and we threw a bottle of your sauce in that pan, and I'm telling you, simmering it for like the last 10 minutes, the aroma of the raspberries and everything else in there, it's like, floating me away.
I think it's real important to heat up your sauce before you use it for a couple of reasons. I think it brings the flavors together, and you really don't want to put a cold barbecue sauce on a piece of meat that you're cooking. So we like to warm it up either on the grill or on the stovetop. Maybe when your charcoals are just starting to get warm, while you're waiting for the briquettes to even out, you just throw your sauce on there, and it really does a nice job warming it up.
Cool. Well, our first dish, we're doing a pork tenderloin recipe, and pork tenderloin is available everywhere. We're using your rub on there, and we're also going to accompany it with a salsa that we're making.
Yes, we are.
So we got half the components of the salsa already done, and then you have some the other components in the oven that we were charring or bringing the natural sugars out.
Why don't I pull them out?
Okay.
Yeah, they look like they're just about done.
What we got there?
We got an ear of corn. We have a tomato sliced in half that we're going to skin, and a red pepper.
Great.
And then we're going to put them together with Vidalia onion, some jalapeno peppers, an Anaheim pepper, radishes, little avocado to cool it off, and some lime juice for a little twist. Yeah,
lime juice is real nice, man, because it brings everything together.
Yes, it does. And if you don't have lime juice, you can use anything, any kind of juice is fine. Even a margarita mix we've used to supplement the lime.
Okay, well, you mean the regular like sweet sour margarita?
Sure.
Okay.
Any kind of thing, any kind of juice with a little acid in it, just kind of brings it all together.
Citric.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll get started here.
Sure, man.
I guess the first thing I want to do is take my pre-cooked corn here, and I'll just slice the kernels off.
And they come right off the cob real easy when you put them in the oven.
Sure, when you warm it up, they'll just come right off. And it's not you don't see corn kernels in a lot of salsas, but I really like the flavor that it gives and the texture that it helps give the salsa. And
not only that, but you put it in the oven, so you're bringing out the natural sweetness too, because of natural sugars.
Yes, absolutely. I'll take these tomato skins; they'll come right off too.
Right. And that's, partly why you're putting it in the oven too, so you could take the skins off.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. Well, these are going to be kind of mushy, but that's just that's kind of like the base of the salsa. So So it'll kind of I'll just kind of slice it a few times.
Okay.
But it'll break up for the most part.
And not only that, but I mean, yeah, you've got a cooked tomato here, and like you said, it is kind of soft, but it's the texture of that contrasts to the stiffness or the raw peppers in that. So you've got a different type of mouthfeel.
Exactly. You'll get your crunch from the raw vegetables, and then this will kind of be the base and the mush, and a lot of the flavor comes from your tomato and your pepper too.
Yeah, I like the combination too. The uniqueness of this salsa is the fact that you're putting radish in there.
Yeah, it's another vegetable that you don't find in a lot of salsas, but if you think about it, it's a perfect fit for salsa. It's got that little bit of bite to it, and it's got the little bit of crunch to it to counteract the tomato and the peppers, the softened peppers.
And not only that, it's got a little bit of heat.
And yes, a little bit of heat.
But not too much. I mean, it's not enough to turn somebody off, but it's the color and the flavor would sure make it. The color too, yes. Would sure make it, a nice contrasting flavor.
And the peppers we're using, the jalapeno and the Anaheim pepper and the red pepper, I don't really like a real hot pepper in my salsa because, I like to eat a lot of it, and if you eat a lot of hot, it can be kind of rough on you. And this is more for anybody that would like salsa. It's not just for the people that like the hot salsa.
Sure. And if you want it hotter, you can also add, crushed pepper or cayenne or, chop up a habanero or whatever.
Absolutely. So I'm going to add these to the bowl right now.
Okay.
And then we'll add the radish.
Great. Well, you know what, man? While you're doing that, I've got a pork tenderloin here. And pork tenderloin, It's available everywhere. You know, your meat markets, your grocery stores, and we're using your rub on here because I like the ingredient list, and it's everything that I would use in a rub, but it's already made. So the convenience factor for me is really nice because I could just take it out of the jar and, liberally, basically rub it right into the meat. And that's kind of synonymous with pork rubbers, huh?
What you just said is why we came up with the rub. We use it in competition right out of the jar, rather than bringing 13 or 14 different jars of spice to a competition or having 13 or 14 sitting in your cabinet. You can reach for one, and it works really good with chicken, with pork. If you like a little different flavor, by all means, add a little garlic to it, or add a little, you could spicing it up a little bit, whatever you like.
And not only that, but you could add a little bit, maybe a little bit of vinegar if you want, and make a paste out of it too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you got yourself a dry paste, as opposed to a dry rub, but it's totally up to the chef, whatever they want to do.
Sure.
What I'm doing here is, because the pork tenderloin has a thick end and a thin end, I'm tucking the thin end under so it doesn't burn. Okay, so it's basically, after I tuck it in, it's almost the thickness of this, this end here. And can I get you to do me a favor and grab that? We've got a couple in there already. If you can hand me
they look
those.
good.
Then we can get back to the avocado. Here, let me take that. Thanks, man.
My pleasure. All right, I just sliced the avocado. Now I'm going to take the seed out. And, there's a little trick to that. Just hit it with a knife, give it a twist, seed pops right out. And then I'm one to just use my hands for my avocado, so I'm just going to take my clean hands. I'm going to fish out my avocado.
Right.
Comes out nice and clean.
So you're using the tools of the trade.
That's right.
Yeah,
the
cool.
ones God gave me.
Right.
And there's my avocado. Now I'm going to take my lime, cut that in half.
I love fresh avocado, man.
I don't see any seeds here, so I'm just going to come right over the top of here, give it a little squeeze.
And that's basically all you have to do.
Yeah,
right?
you don't need a lot of the lime.
Just the juice of one whole lime, right? Whatever juice is, whatever it gives,
Whatever it gives
us.
Everything is, for the recipe, everything is pretty much how you like it. You can vary, you could leave a vegetable out if you want, you can add something to it, it's really flexible. Now, once again, I'm going to take my hands and kind of like work it all together.
And just mix it all together with your hands.
Yeah.
Cool.
The avocado is kind of a tricky thing, to get mixed in with a spoon or a knife or a fork or a mixing whisk.
Right.
So I find that using your fingers really gets it all mixed together real well.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to cut a couple slices off this guy.
Oh, does that look good?
Can't wait to dig in, man. Well, let's see if I did it right. Oh, looks like I did it right, huh? Or we did it right.
There you go. Looks perfect. It smells wonderful.
And I love that caramelization, you can get. Now, all these recipes can be done on the grill. If I was to do the pork tenderloin, I would sear it probably on each side, maybe 4 to 5 minutes, direct heat method, and then I would move it over to the side where there's, no coals, or move your coals over to one side, put it on the side where there's no coals, put the cover on, and smoke roast it using the indirect heat method for maybe another 20 minutes. And after that, perfect pork tenderloin, man.
And to translate the salsa recipe onto the grill, like we were talking with the sauce while you're waiting for your briquettes to warm up, if you're using all natural products with a fire starter or the coffee can method for warming your briquettes up, and you're using natural coals with no petroleum, you can throw your vegetables while you're waiting for your briquettes to warm up, just like you do with your sauce.
Absolutely. And both Tom and I advocate the use of a chimney starter. You could get your coals started with a newspaper. It's a whole lot easier than having to use kerosene. Do me a favor, Tom, and grab those and put them on the plate here for me. Perfect. All right, man.
I'll leave that one for me.
That's the chef's cut.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Let me sneak around you here.
All right, give us a little bit of sauce and salsa.
See, right now my salsa texture is, you can see it's kind of got a little base with the tomato with and the avocado for holding the vegetables together.
Sure.
And it's also got the cut up vegetables for.
Nice dollop there.
Maybe one little more right here.
Okay, and I'm going to give us a ribbon of sauce.
Looks pretty good, Larry.
You sure do, man. All right, man. There we have it. The pork tenderloin and Tom's salsa. We're going to take a quick break and hurry on back and start on that pulled pork recipe, man.
Let's do it.
Okay. Hang loose. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Culinary Adventures. Our special guest today is Tom Van Petten of Pork Rubbers Barbecue. And man, we used the rub on the pork tenderloin and it was awesome.
Sure was good, wasn't it?
But you know what? The freshness of the avocado, the nice bite of the radish and the lime juice in that salsa with the roasted corn, I'm telling you, there's some awesome salsa too.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we really like that salsa.
You know what else? With that pork, with the pork tenderloin, you got the nice spiciness of the rub. You got the sauce, the sweetness and you know, the spice. You got that salsa cooling everything down, so it's perfect for summer.
It's a real good outdoor meal. Whether it's on the grill or in the oven, it's nice to have that kind of meal out on the patio.
Exactly. Now, hey, this ugly piece of meat here, okay, which we usually cook at, you know, barbecue competitions, and since barbecue competitions are coming up really soon, we got a pork shoulder here, a pork butt, right?
It's a pork shoulder, and it's the pork butt cut, least inexpensive cut on the pig. But what I also think it's got the most flavor if it's cooked properly. There's a lot of fat in it, and the juices just turns out to be a real nice piece of meat if you cook it properly.
Yeah, because this is like $1.50 a pound or something.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
can get it for, you know, right around there, and I think it could taste better than your best ribs, your best pork tenderloins, if you cook it right.
But it's not something, I mean, Tom, it's not something that some guy could fire up his gas grill and expect this thing to be done in an hour, because it ain't going to happen.
No, it takes quite a while to render the fat that runs through the meat, and if you cook it fast, you're going to dry out the outside.
Right.
So slow and long cooking is the method you want to use for this cut of meat.
You know what I do? I mean, if we're not, you know, competing on the circuit in that, I'll plan a day or two in advance when I want to do this thing, okay? And I may rub it the day or two before, or you know, marinate it or whatever. Prepare it, you know, my spices a day or two before. And I like doing it, throw it on early morning, okay? It doesn't, I mean, if it's summertime, if it's football season, I could throw it on like at 7 a.m., okay?
And forget it.
And forget about it. And if it's like a 6-pounder, I could cook it for 6 or 7 hours.
Easily.
And it's done by halftime of the Bears game if it's football season, or, you know, Daytona 500, you know, or something like that, or even Thanksgiving or whatever. People coming over the day after Thanksgiving or the day after Christmas.
It really surprises people, the flavor and the texture once they try it, and you'll get a lot of questions. What is it?
Right.
What kind of meat is it? And when
Right.
you tell them what it is, they want to know how they can cook it themselves.
Or where they can get it, and it's always in the grocery
It's
store.
always there.
Sure.
It's commonly used for sausage, if it, you know, if you rub it down properly and you put it on your grill. One way I like to cook it is I like to put it on the night before.
Sure.
And just let it cook all night, because it seems like the more things you try to do to this piece of meat, the harder it is to cook.
Right.
It doesn't come out quite as well. So I'll throw it on the grill and just let it slow smoke all night long.
And if you need to, you can add some coals or something like that, but if you put enough out there, you're fine.
Yeah, if you run them in a line, you know, they'll sometimes fire off
Sure.
on each other, maybe
Sure.
top them with some hickory chips.
Sure.
What we're going to do is we're going to show how to, one of the main questions I get is, how can I cook it in my own oven? And we've
Right.
come up with a recipe that we can do that.
Great. Well, let's do it. We're using a bone-in because you can't get them without the bone.
Bone in, we're leaving most of the fat on it. There's if you take a look at the piece, there's fat running all through here. There's a fat cap on top, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And what we're going to do is we're going to season it with just the rub. So I'll sprinkle some on.
And we also have, you know, it's got layers of inner fat too, which acts as a natural base when you're cooking it at low temperatures.
I think that's one of the things that surprises people the most is the juiciness of this meat. Once you taste it, it really melts in your mouth.
I really like it, man, and it's really economical. It's you know, if you love pork, or if you've been to places where they have pulled pork sandwiches, this is exact cut they're using. Or you know, the whole shoulder if they're doing that, or
yeah, it can come in a lot of different sizes. We're using the butt cut, and why they call it the butt cut, neither one of us have any idea.
We don't have any idea.
And the experts don't have any ideas.
Don't email us and ask us what it means, because we have no idea. But there's also another half of this would be the picnic ham. So it's all basically up to you which cut you want to use, but both are really good. I prefer the butt with the bone in.
Now, if there's ever a piece of meat that you want to rub generously with your spices, this is it. Because with the long hours of cooking, it'll soak right in, and it really gives it the flavor. If you go a little light with the spices, you might get a blander flavor.
And not only that, but you know, if you think it's not enough, it's not enough.
Right.
You know, and if you think it's too much, it's probably not enough either.
Probably right.
You know?
I don't think you can put too much flavor on there, because
No.
it's just going to run off with the fat and soak in with the fat.
Exactly. Now, when you do this, okay, and how far in advance would you apply the rub?
You can apply it right when you put it in, or you can apply it up to 2-3 hours in advance if you want to put it in the refrigerator and wrap it in some plastic or something.
Sure.
And use it as a marinade. This rub has some real fine powders in it, so as you put it on, it'll start soaking right into the meat.
Good idea. Yeah, and you could rub it down. You could put it in a Ziploc bag or one of those things.
Right.
Or in a Tupperware, throw it in the fridge.
Right.
And yeah, if you're going to do that, make sure it's refrigerated, not laying on the counter.
Right. And you really don't want to use aluminum foil.
Right.
Because Mom said so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it'll give you, the reaction will give you almost an aluminum taste.
Right, right.
So if you're going to do that, use like a plastic or a Corning or a Pyrex or like a storage bag.
Yeah, anything you usually use for marinating.
Sure, exactly.
All right, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to cook it in the oven at approximately 210 to 225 degrees.
Right.
Put a little bit of water in the bottom of the dish and cover it with aluminum foil for the first 3 hours. Now that's just going to make it so you don't have to cook it quite as long. The
Right.
steaming will start rendering the fat down a lot
Sure.
faster than just a basic heated oven. Then we're going to take the aluminum foil off, and we're going to cook it maybe for another, see, they vary in sizes and,
Right.
and they vary in layers of fat, so we're going to cook it for another maybe 3 hours, maybe 5 hours. The crucial thing is you want to get the temperature proper.
Right.
And the internal temperature, for me, I like to get it somewhere between 180 and 190 degrees is what I like
Internal
to go for.
temperature.
Yeah, and that
Right.
you usually broke down 90% of the fat.
Okay, and like you said, you're doing it 210, 225, and that's basically the temperature we're trying to attain outside if we're cooking in competition or just cooking at home.
Right. It's what they call the proper smoking temperature.
Exactly.
That's what they want. That's what they're looking for.
Because you're not bringing those tough muscle tissues up too far where it'll break down easier at those lower temperatures.
Right, and you're not drying out the outside of the meat or anything like
Exactly.
that. You're getting a nice even cook all the way through the whole thing. Now, it may look, when you're done, it may look a little dark, and they call that whooped up.
Yeah.
But that's just on the surface, and 9 times out of the 10, even that darker meat is still pretty juicy.
Sure. And not only that, but I kind of like that bark too.
Yes, I do too.
With
burnt
all that,
end.
yeah, those caramelized ends, man,
Yeah.
there's nothing like it.
Right.
Well, let's put that guy in there, or let's take the one we got in there out, and then,
Okay, so this would be a little bit of water on the bottom, covered with aluminum foil for about the first 3 hours.
okay.
I'll set that right here.
Oh, yeah.
And that's about what we're looking for when we bring it out.
And what's beautiful about this, it all pulled away from the bone here, because it's got that blade bone right in there, and it pulled it away. So, or the meat pulled away from the bone, you could tell it's really done nicely.
Here's the fat cap that we were talking about earlier. You want to cook it fat cap up.
Right.
So the fat just kind of soaks down into it. And you really don't have to to turn the meat at all. You can turn it maybe in the last hour if you want to put some
Sure.
sauce on it to
Sure.
sauce the bottom, because we're going to discard this anyway when we
Right.
cut it up. So if we're ready,
Yeah, let's cut into it, man.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's falling apart,
That's beautiful.
but that's kind of what we're looking for. Here.
Mhm.
I'll put this over here.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at that guy, man.
All right, first thing I like to do is get rid of the fat cap.
Mhm.
And that you can do with your hands, or you can just kind of slice it right off.
Right. Oh, sure. That's nice and easy, man.
Yeah. And there'll be a little V in between right here that there's usually a little extra fat. You can see the juices in here. Now this cooked for 8 hours and it's still just real juicy.
Looks beautiful.
All right, I'll get rid of this.
Okay. Yeah, let's get a hunk going, man.
Here's the bone side. So what I like to do is I like to start away from the bone and cut it into maybe 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch slices. You see the juices just running right out of there.
Sure. And that's because it's interlaid. The fat is melted. The fat is basically, melted into that meat.
Yeah, you can see right here the lines of the fat.
Yep.
That's broken down. That's where the heavier juices are.
That is awesome.
That should do us good for right now for
Yeah.
what we're doing. Then I like to take these. Usually my wife is in charge of the pulling. I'm in charge of the cutting.
Okay.
So you just take it, pull it apart in different size pieces, like so. I like to try to keep a little bit of the outside skin on
Sure.
different pieces, just so you have a little bit of extra flavor on
Sure.
each piece. I'm going to cut a little bit
Gives you
of this
different
too.
texture, too.
Absolutely. It's a little bit of something to chew on.
Oh, yeah, man.
Now, we just took this out of the oven and we're pulling it apart, and it's
Right.
a little warm. What I recommend doing is taking it out of the oven, wrapping it in some plastic, and letting it sit, letting
Sure.
it cool down.
Sure.
Maybe you can let it cool down for anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. It doesn't hurt it at all, because basically you're going to add it to some warm sauce, and it's just going to heat right back up anyway.
Right.
And if you're not ready to eat it at the time that you cook it, you can after you pull it, freeze it,
Yeah.
and it freezes real well. Then when you're ready to eat it, warm up some sauce, take it out, thaw it out just a little bit. Doesn't even have to be totally thawed. Drop it in the warm sauce, and it heats up real well.
Great.
From freezer to stovetop.
Well, you know what, man? I'm going to let you keep pulling that, and we're going to take a quick break.
All right, then we
Okay.
should be ready to eat some.
And then, yeah, we'll dump it in the sauce and give you the beauty shot.
All righty.
We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Culinary Adventures. Our special guest today has been Tom Van Petten of Pork Rubbers Barbecue. And when we went to break, Tom was chopping up the pork and pulling the pork, and we simply took that pulled pork, threw it into the simmering pot of barbecue sauce, and got this beautiful sauce-laden pork that we put on just ordinary hamburger buns. Simple, easy, man. It tastes awesome.